If it was a normal day, like my fellowship in the previous year, I would probably be walking to school right now to go teach my students. However, due to the crisis, my schedule has changed. Currently, I'm focusing on helping my students by providing psychological first aid so I can help them with their mental health. Every single day, this is how I start my day. Hi, my name is Nirvana Thakur. I'm currently an English Fellow in Teach for Nepal. I am currently placed in Tonho district and teaching 134 students at Sri Ratna Secondary School. I completed my bachelor's in International Relations at Susquehanna University in Pennsylvania, United States. During the pandemic, I've been reaching out to my students through many mediums. I've been calling them, I've been messaging them, I've been reaching out to them through Facebook, email, and I've also been involved in the radio production team. Currently, I'm here at the radio station recording for an English learning session. I am an English teacher, and today I am your English teacher. While I was supporting my students in MidMe, I was reaching out to one of my students through a phone call, and during that time, I was able to connect with my student's parent. And my student's parent told me that the pandemic had been negatively affecting my student and her mental health. She wanted to drop out of school. She didn't want to study anymore further when she was one of the brightest students in my school. And when I talked to her, she had very much of a negative mindset and negative answers. And this was when I realized that the pandemic has been affecting our students mentally. And so this is why I took the initiative to start psychological first aid. I got the idea of PFA when I was working at Sati Sanstha during the 2015 earthquake. There, I learned that psychological first aid is necessary to give. I'm not an expert, but I have been working in this field before. I began by doing research on psychological first aid. Even though I had previous experience, I wanted to know more. I didn't know how to give PFA in a place where there was social distancing. Before, PFA had been done face-to-face in a safe space, but this was something new in my zone, so I did research. In psychological first aid, we have 3 L's: look, listen, and link. We look to see if there is someone that needs help or that needs PFA. So first, I began to do that by calling all my students. Then I began to listen for clue words that if they do need psychological first aid. Are there anything that my student has been going through? Are there any troubles because of, especially due to the crisis? Then I began to link them to the correct type of help that they would need. During this pandemic, one of the most important things to recognize is that because of social distancing, loneliness has been increasing. So people don't have someone to talk to. And PFA provides that platform for students and for other people to have someone to talk to rely on. So I realized that this is very important because my students weren't getting someone that they could talk to. They didn't have a place where they felt comfortable to show how they were feeling or why they were feeling this way without being judged. I've started to see some changes in my students. They have been calling me. They leave me missed calls, they message me, or they call me for a short time asking me, "Miss, can you call me back? I want to talk to you." I've seen that students are more comfortable in keeping or telling me about how they feel. They're more honest, they're more actively sharing, and they're more enthusiastic about the work that I give them now. One of the most important things in psychological first aid is your own physical and mental health. If the person giving psychological first aid is not well themselves, how can they provide psychological first aid? I talk to my friends, other fellows, who I can have a space to share with my feelings after what I've heard from students. I also talk to my family, who are always there to help remind me that my mental health is also important. Psychological first aid is something that teachers have to be aware about. It is very important for teachers because We are that first link for students, right after family. And as a teacher, we have to be aware about what we are saying and how we are dealing with situations where students are asking for help or students are asking for a platform to share. Are we realizing that students are coming to us to ask us for help? Are we taking in those clues? And even if we want to give help, are we being aware of what we are saying? Are we aware of what help we can provide them? And I think learning about psychological first aid as a teacher or as an educator helps us become better at communicating with our students and becoming aware of how our communication affects their mental health. I see mental health as being the first thing that is very important in a classroom for me to go ahead and teach my students. Yes, during the pandemic, because I'm not physically in my school and we have very limited resources, I'm not able to teach my curriculum. But that is something I can catch up with when school starts again. But if mental health of my student is being affected, that is going to take a long time for me to cover. And due to that, even curriculum is going to be affected. A request from a fellow to all students around. We should know that we are all in this together. That if we connect with each other and share with each other the feelings, the emotions that we have, that we can all move ahead together without the pandemic letting us affect in a negative manner.